So, in my last post, I exposed the tactics of the enemy and how they came to rule the world. But many of you all disagreed. I got comments like this, and comments like this, and this, and this. So really, let's talk about it. You guys do remember that 60-minute interview, right? Check this out.
Nigeria, which is, if not the most corrupt nation in Africa, and it is, it could be the most corrupt nation in the world, Minister Farrakhan.
Oh, now, Mr. Wallace.
It is the most corrupt nation that I have ever covered. I've been there 25 years ago, and I've been there as recently as last year.
Fine. So what? 35 years old. That's what that nation is. Now here's America, 226 years old. You love democracy, but there in Africa, you're trying to force these people into a system of government that you just have accepted. 30 years ago, black folk got the right to vote. You're not in any moral position to tell anybody how corrupt they are. You should be quiet and let those of us who know our people go there and help them get out of that condition. But America should keep her mouth shut wherever there's a corrupt regime, as much hell as America has raised on the earth. No, I will not allow America or you, Mr. Wallace, to condemn them as the most corrupt nation on earth when you have spilled the blood of human beings. Has Nigeria dropped an atomic bomb and killed people in Hiroshima and Nagasaki? Have they killed off millions of Native Americans? How dare you put yourself in that position as a moral judge? I think you should keep quiet, because with that much blood on America's hands, you have no right to speak. I will speak because I don't have that blood on my hands. Yes, there's corruption there. Yes, there's mismanagement of resources. Yes, there is abuse. There's abuse in every nation on earth, including this one. So let's not play holy to moralize on them. Let's help them.
I'm not moralizing. I'm asking a question, and I got an answer.
Why would you put it as the most corrupt regime in the world? That doesn't make sense.
Can you think of one more corrupt?
Yeah, I'm living in one. I'm living in one. Yes, you've done a hell of a thing on this earth, so you should not be the one to talk. You should be quiet when it comes to moral condemnation, in my judgment.
So I showed you all those comments of Africa being corrupt, right? They love to say it is on the news, it's in their debates and behind closed doors. But let's not act brand new. Even Louis Farrakhan told the man on 60 Minutes, you have no moral standing to call Africa corrupt when your hands are stained with centuries of blood. But I want to balance that scale, because the truth of the matter is some of our own sold us out. Some of our own are still doing it today. The betrayal didn't stop with slave ships. It evolved with politics, platforms, and power plays. The question we must ask is what, when, why, how, and who. I get it. We've been lied to, indoctrinated, manipulated. See, the colonizer came in and claimed we couldn't govern ourselves. And looking at some of these leaders today, they almost make the lie look legit. But don't get it twisted, this isn't just their fault. We need to go a little bit deeper into the spiritual root where betrayal met profit and sin birthed systems. So how did Africa become so easily infiltrated? Why are we still fighting each other over crumbs at the colonizer's table? Why did we trade a covenant for currency? Who are the real enemies and who are the Judas figures walking among us? Now, of course, you know I'm always dropping those receipts like they're diamonds. I want to talk to you guys about that prophetic pattern. See, we find in Micah chapter 2 verses 1 through 10 where it shows us how injustice and greed provoked judgment. Yeah, Jeremiah 31 and 2 tells us that the people who survived the sword found grace in the wilderness. That's a prophetic pattern. See, we have to understand that there's judgment. See, injustice brings exile. We see this in Micah chapter 2 verses 1 through 10. And they coveted fields and seized them. That's in Micah chapter 2 verses 2. The second part of this prophetic pattern is refinement. See, God allows suffering to purify his people. See, Jeremiah 31:2 tells us that God allows for suffering to purify us. They found grace in the wilderness. Also, we find that the third step of this prophetic process is that a remnant is preserved. In Micah chapter 2:12, it says, I will surely gather a remnant of Israel. See, there's also restoration. It says that the breaker goes up before them, their kings pass on before them, and the Lord at their head. That's in Micah 2:13. And then finally, the glory is returned. In Jeremiah chapter 31:34, it says, they shall know me, for I will forgive them of their iniquities. See, there's a spiritual rhythm of justice. And now let's bring that into our reality. Yes, colonizers carved up Africa during the Berlin Conference like it was a buffet, but African leaders helped serve that meal. Mobutu Sese Seko looted Congo while claiming nationalism. Idi Amin brutally cloaked in patriotism. And Charles Taylor sold blood for diamonds. And today, Felix Tshisekedi of Congo made underhanded deals with Eric Prince, handing over the people's inheritance for a what? Paycheck. See, they sell out the soil for silver. They trade freedom for foreign contracts. They are Esau with microphones. So let me get this straight. Europeans say Africans can't govern themselves, while our own leaders prove them right. It sounds like Satan found his Judas and handed him a government seat. But don't think this is just an African issue. So let's connect those dots. I'm going to take you from ancient to now. Let's talk about America's Black Judas class. Let's cross over to the Atlantic. In America, the same pattern repeats. They raise black faces in high places not to help us, but to hush us. Let's talk about Jesse Jackson. He managed the outrage and never delivered liberation. And what about Martin Luther King Jr., or shall I say Michael King? He was a puppet used by the white class to endorse agendas that we never agreed to and integrated us into a system that was meant to control us. And let's not talk about Joe Biden's crime bill, which was endorsed by many black politicians, introduced the 3 strikes law, you're out, which led to mass incarceration of our men. Let's talk about that. It's where it says, among my people are wicked men who lie and wait like men who snare birds. See, the Bible always tells you the truth. You just need to read it. We see black mayors and police chiefs echo the system script. Every time we turn around, we're told, our communities are violent, but who put the guns and the crack there? See, Psalms 94:20 tells us, shall the throne of iniquity have fellowship with thee, which farmeth mischief by the law? See, they didn't fix the foundation, they painted a facade. See, here's the uncomfortable truth, and I want you to let this sit in. The violence, the betrayal, the poverty, it's not just the system, it's sin. And sin has no skin color. Didn't 1 Timothy chapter 6 verse 10 tell you that the love of money is the root of all evil? It doesn't care whether your suit is tailored in Paris or woven in Accra. See, Africa isn't cursed. It's corrupt by centuries of sin from both colonizers and native collaborators. But let me invite you, because it's time to repent, not just for what was done to us, but for what we've done to one another. See, Esau is not white. The Hebrew word for red is Adom, meaning ruddy, reddish brown, mahogany hue. See, Esau was a Shemite who betrayed his brother Jacob. Genesis chapter 25:30-34 lays it bare. He traded his birthright for a bowl of food. And generations later, his descendants intermixed with Arabs, Hamites, and the Ashkenazi Jews helped enslave the Israelites. See, Amos 1:6, Obadiah chapter 1 verses 10-12, and Joel chapter 3 verses 4-6 confirms their guilt. And yet God always preserves a remnant. But didn't Isaiah chapter 10:22 tells us, though my people Israel be as the sand of the sea, yet the remnant of them shall return. Romans 11:11 says, through their trespasses, salvation has come to the Gentiles. We are now in the season of refinement. These trials and tribulations are made in order to purify us, where God is purifying those who will not only survive this fire, but will shine from it. See, the goal of judgment is not for your destruction, it's for your transformation. It's to have a people who know what the cost of sin is and never desire it again. See, that door is still open, but is very narrow. We know that Matthew chapter 7 verse 14 tells us only a few will find that door. Will you be one of the few?